Hello and welcome to Husky Huddle. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. And with me, as always, the icon himself, the legendary voice of the Huskies, the best of the best, Mr. Joe D'Ambrosia. Joe, great to see you.
Steve, good to see you.
And I have promised, and I'm going to stick by my word to not be a homer this weekend, predict the 52-10 victory by our UConn Huskies after our display in Buffalo. But we are looking at the glass half full, coming away with the victory. And I was looking at a little bit of our FIU Tigers, I believe. And I think that we have
Panthers.
the Panthers. That's what they are, the Panthers. I think we have a very good chance of victory. However, like you said, I think every game is going to be a battle, a matchup, and it's not going to be a walk in the park, obviously, like the Central game was.
They've got a really good quarterback, a veteran. They've got a terrific kick returner. They've got a good receiver. They've got good players on defense. It's a better team than I thought when we first talked on Monday. I think this is going to be a lot tougher game than most of the Vox Populi imagine. I think a lot of people think UConn's just going to walk on the field Saturday and clean it up. And if they go in with that attitude, which I don't expect them to, because the coach prevents that, but I think FIU could present them some challenges.
I would agree with you. And previously, I would have been one of those fans that said it would have been a walk in the park. But you're absolutely right about the quarterback. He's a veteran. He is
third-year starter.
Yeah, he's from Miami, and he's on quite a few. I know preseason lists are not as great as the other ones, but he is listed on several of the preseason award lists. The Davy O'Brien preseason watch list, the Manning Award watch list, the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm watch list. So, and he's also the conference preseason offensive player of the year on that list as well, preseason. So this kid's pretty talented. He's a dual threat quarterback.
Yep.
He's not on the massive side. So that's why I think that he may not have ended up at a larger program because of his size. But for what they do offensively, he absolutely fits their skill set. They do a lot of the dual threat stuff with him, the zone read concepts, the RPOs, and he executes what he can execute. He's not your traditional drop back passer, although I mean he does have 7 touchdown passes in the 4 games that they've played, which is impressive, which is right around what Figiano has in 5. One of the contests was against the mighty Bethune-Cookman, but otherwise,
well, no different than UConn playing Central.
It really isn't. No, and in fact, it's probably even harder from what I've heard about some of those the conferences and the HBCU leagues. They're getting a lot better. They're getting more funding. They get some NIL money, and I think with the additions of LaShawn McCoy, or it was LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, and Michael Vick as head coaches in the conference, I think has made a big impact. So they haven't played obviously a cupcake schedule. They were at number 2 Penn State. That was their loss, and to it's not in complete comparison, but Delaware lost 31-7 to Colorado. they played the number 2 team in the country and lost 34-0. So it wasn't exactly a blowout. They beat Florida Atlantic, and they lost to Delaware, who we have found out to be pretty good, pretty credible. So this is
a lot better than people imagined.
This is far from a walk in the park, which I obviously would have said.
Now, having said that, if UConn plays its game, UConn should win by double digits because it is up here. UConn's feeling good about themselves, having won 2 games in a row. But you still have questions about the defense. You still have questions about closing out games. So, it's a good time for the season to take a break after this week because
they need that bye week.
It's a good time for the bye week. You can get some rest and yet reset and get ready for a second half of the season that includes BC, Duke, and Air Force. So it's probably second half of the season is probably a little tougher than the first half has been. So,
a lot tougher. That's going to make a huge difference.
And I didn't realize this till I did a little research before we went on. They've got to get bigger chunk plays out of the run game. Not counting Central, they've had only 14 runs of 10 yards plus in the last 4 games.
Yeah, over double digits. Yep.
Not counting Central, they've had 25 pass plays of 15 yards plus. So they're doing a better job on chunk plays in the pass game than they are in the running game. And I don't think you can put it all on the fact that Wes Brown is hurt.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah,
you can't. You
can't. No,
you can't put it on that. You've got Rosa, you've got the other kid, you've certainly got Cam, you've got the other kids in the backfield, you've got speed. So it's not just the fact, well, Wes is hurt. Well, injuries are a part of football. What are you going to do? You're going to fold up the tents? No, nobody's saying that.
They say that. They always say nobody feels bad for you.
No, of course not.
You can cry, but nobody's going to listen.
Of course not. So,
and you're 100% right. And I went back. I took a look at the Syracuse game because it was after that game you asked me specifically about the offensive line. And I ranted and raved and said, "Oh, they're great. They can do this. They can do that." And after taking a closer look at the Syracuse game, and then I went back and I watched some of the Buffalo game. You were right. I may have misspoken a little bit by giving our offensive line a bunch of Outland trophies.
Well, that's because you're an offensive lineman.
Yeah. I have a slight bias towards the offensive line.
I'd say it's more than slight, but go for
it. It is more than slight. It is more than slight. But you are right. Up front, and I had talked about this before. I thought that we are more of a physical kind of road grader group as an offensive line. I don't think we're super athletic, which with the I know schematics is different. We like to run outside a lot, and to run outside, you really have to have dynamic and athletic offensive linemen. And I don't necessarily believe we have that. And that's why from everything I've seen, when we start games, we run the ball fairly effectively in the first quarter or the first drive, the first couple drives. And then ultimately the team will make adjustments. And
that's not true.
No,
I don't think that's true. I'm having tremendous problems today. I don't know why with my phone and camera, but I'll just leave it with me staring to the right while I comment here before I try and fix this for the 50th time. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know if it's because my house is being cleaned and they're stepping on
Well,
things. I have no idea what it
Let me
is.
see if I have too many windows open. That could
No,
be
no,
it.
no, no. It's not you.
No, it has nothing to do with you,
Oh,
Steve.
oh,
It has
okay.
to do with me. It has to do with it might be because my house is being cleaned. They're going over the internet and out of the internet. I don't know.
Well,
But,
historically, it's because of me, so that's why.
No, this would have nothing to do with it. I've been having problems for the last 30 minutes. So anyway, that's not here or there. That was not true in the game against who was the game
Buffalo, are you talking about?
where they closed out and Cam had the big runs?
Um,
The game
he-
before Buffalo.
Ball
Well,
State.
that was Ball State. Yes.
Yeah, Ball
yes.
State.
That was
So
Ball State. Yes.
that was not true.
Well,
They
I wasn't
actually improved as the game went on. So I don't see that as being the actual.
I wasn't talking about Ball State specifically because I did not watch that. I watched Buffalo and I watched Syracuse because Joe had brought up Syracuse, and I went back and I watched that and I watched a little bit of Buffalo, and I thought that we tend to. I mean, I have to look at the stat sheet on it, but it seems that we run the ball a little bit better to start, and then teams will adjust and we struggle a little bit more in the second half. But that very well could not have been the case against Ball State, which would make sense because, we had to close out the game on offense. But the way I see our offensive line, I see us being very physical up front. And, I think we can knock people off the ball. And I don't necessarily believe that we're utilizing that to our strength. They have done fairly well in pass protection, despite not being the most athletic group.
Well, they haven't given up a sack this year. I'd say they've done
They
better
haven't.
than that.
Well, yeah, they haven't given up.
How are you determining that they're not athletic?
I'm
I'm just curious.
Because I've watched them block outside zone, and I've watched how many TFLs that we've given up on outside zone.
Outside zone, okay, the way that they run outside zone, all right, is their job is to try and reach, right? And it's the running back's job to cut based off of the read, right? So if a guy shows outside him, he cuts it up. If they have control and they have the outside edge, then he continues on, right? So if the issue would be if there's a problem inside, meaning guard, center, guard, but tackle and tight end should be fairly straightforward read for the running back from outside zone standpoint. And so part of that could be how quickly the back reads it if there is an issue there. So with the outside zone standpoint, it really depends on what they're having that running back read there. So I mean that's the only thing why I would push back. Now, if there's a problem inside, meaning when he cuts and guard, center, guard don't have control of their inside area, then which they're probably more driving them off the ball, and the tackle and tight end are more running, right? So I don't know. You know what I mean? I'd have to see the stats on that to know for sure by half. Because as far as overall run game, we're averaging 5.7 yards a rushing attempt.
Oh, I know.
So
And I think
that would
that's
tell me that that's not
masked a
true,
little
and we
bit.
have 12 touchdowns rushing.
I think that's masked a little bit by the long carries that we've had. That's the only
Remember
reason
we
I
just
said
said,
it.
Steve, they haven't had long carries. Since the Central game, they've only had 14 runs. We just talked about that, bro.
No, but I
Since
mean, Cam had a couple 65-yard touchdown runs in the
At
last.
Ball
They've had
State,
they've had 14 carries of 10 yards or more in the last 4 games. That's not enough.
Okay.
No, I think if you're averaging you're right. If you're averaging 5.7 yards a carry, that would tell me that you should run more, not less.
Right. I agree.
Right. and we did
I mean, if
against
you average
Buffalo.
5 yards a carry as a team, I'm not talking about obviously your star may average a lot of yards per carry, but as a team, you're averaging 5 yards plus per carry. That's a really good average per carry.
It's a great average per carry. It's a great average.
They've
per
only
carry.
lost 105 yards too, like yards lost, meaning gone, negative, only 105 yards. They haven't had a lot of TFL kind of situations in the run game. So there's
19 in 5 games. They've lost 19 TFL in 5 games.
5 games, four. Okay, so that's all rushing. So that's
Right,
4.
and only 4 sacks allowed. So they've only had 23 negative plays on offense this year, not counting like interceptions and fumbles, and they haven't thrown an interception.
How
No,
How many did you say, Joe? Again,
They've had 19 TFLs and 4 sacks again. 19 TFL against and 4 sacks against. So they've only had 23 negative plays. They haven't thrown an interception, and they've only fumbled the ball once and didn't lose it. Now,
that's out of
conversely,
350 offensive plays.
right.
They've
Right.
had 350 offensive plays this year. To have only 23 TFLs, TFLs and sacks that's pretty.
We're one of 4 teams in the country that does not have a turnover, and so that's phenomenal. But we're also
6.6 yards overall. Overall, that includes incompletions per play. So that's runs and passes thrown. So that which includes, incompletions, even though I think we're 119 for 183, which is pretty good. But
Yeah, it's very good. 65%. That's
very
great.
efficient. Very efficient.
So 6.6. So basically, we're averaging 2 plays to get a first down. That's incredible.
Well, then we should be scoring more points, like Joe said.
Now, inside the 10, inside the 20, that might be a different stat we have to look at to see our conversions on that. I think I could probably pull it up. I'm just looking.
Yeah.
4th down conversions are great. 3rd down conversions are 43%.
Which is good. 40% or
decent,
plus is good.
Which is pretty good, yeah. Which is pretty. Red zone attempts to scores. And I don't, you can tell me if this is bad or not, but it seems pretty good. Attempts to scores 18 out of 20.
That's excellent.
Red zone touchdowns 13 out of 20. That seems like a high number. I could be wrong.
I think it is.
Well, 20 attempts in 5 games isn't a lot.
You'd like more than that. I mean, 75% would be terrific. 65% is pretty good.
I got to pull. I'm just, I hate always going to Alabama just because I'm still stuck in Nick Saban era. But let me pull up their stats just to get an idea.
20 attempts
Conversely, they don't stop anybody in the red zone.
Well, the same stats apply, Joe. If you look at it for the defenses, for other teams' offenses, basically,
right? 16
it's almost
for 18,
a mirror.
11 touchdowns, 5 field goals.
I'm just curious what Alabama is. Okay, Alabama is 18 for 19 in the red zone scores. We're 18 for 20. Okay, touchdowns. Alabama's 15 for 19, which is a little better ratio. Yeah. 3rd down, and we're talking about, obviously they play a much more difficult schedule, but we're still talking about one of the top 10 programs in the country. 30 for 56, Alabama is on 3rd down conversions, 53.6%, which is exceptional.
High. Yeah, that's high.
4th down conversions are only 5 for 10. We're actually 7 for 11.
Well, we went 5 for 5 against Ball State, which was exceptional.
Sacks.
That made a difference.
Alabama has 6 sacks given up on the year. I don't know what their TFLs are, but they have. I'm just saying, just for our offensive standpoint, rushing wise, Alabama is averaging 3.9 yards a carry rushing as a team.
Right,
They're
because
passing, they're 101
struggled.
for 145, which is kind of similar to us. 101 for 145, averaging 321 yards per game. Passing, they've thrown more touchdowns, passing 15 passing touchdowns of 5.
We have 7. Right.
So I can't, if just looking at this, and obviously we play a very different schedule. They're playing teams that are great against the run, blah 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 blah. But for the level that we play at, our rushing is far superior to Alabama. So it can't be the rushing that's the part. Maybe we should be running more than we are. You could argue that. You could
Sure.
argue that. And
Sure.
you could argue that they should, we've talked about that, put a second blocker, meaning a tight end, more, a lead.
We did
A
that
lead
against
more. You
Buffalo.
could argue that too. You could argue whether we should motion to a lead on the outside zone, with one of these wings, that kind of a stuff to get an extra blocker for. You could argue that definitely, but I can't say that offense. Defensively, the fact that it's mirrored, our offense is mirrored by the other team, basically, is the thing that has to get fixed, right? That's the part. If we're doing that on offense, we can't have the other team doing the same exact thing, So
No, of course not. Of course not. But I mean, I look at Buffalo, and if you take away Joe Figliano's carries and yardage, that's what I would like to see what we were at, because he had 64 yards rushing, I believe.
Well, he had the one big run. He had 35.
Yeah, he had 38 on one carry. He
Right.
had six carries for 64 yards. So if you take that 64 yards away from the 165, that's 61. And that ends up 6 carries, 25 carries for 161. What's that come out to be?
What's that?
Yeah, that's still pretty high. No, I was subtracting Joe's numbers to see what we had, because he had 64 carries on 6 attempts, and we had 165 rushing yards. So we would still have one. We'd be at 101, and we would have it on 25 carries. So 25 carries for 101, that is 4 yards a carry. So that's a little bit lower. That was my kind of what I was saying. And Cam was 15 for 62, and he had the long of 12. That was it. Joe had the longest run of the day, which was 38. And that was my only problem. The reason I say outside zones, because when I watched it, it'll hit good, but if you look at it from the second half, when we run it, teams adjust and fly. And when you're saying, I think we try to run it sometimes from the short side, but when we do run it with the tight end, Dave, I see the tight end leave his tackle a little quick because he's got to climb to the second level. And you don't really get the whole purpose of zone blocking that's good is you get double teams. And we don't get as many because the defensive flow is so fast. We lose it. And that's why, and I was talking about this with Joe Villapiano. When you run downhill, when you run inside zone, it at least prevents you from having those -4s and those -3s, those longer blow-ups. And I felt that we had those more, at least against Buffalo, that put us in bad situations when it was the fourth quarter and we had good field position. We were on the plus 50. I think we had 2 series. We were on the plus 50, and we did not fail to get a first. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't. Oh, now your camera's not working.
it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So
Yeah, no, and
I'm
that's
just,
when we failed.
there's something wrong with it. I don't.
But that's what I wanted to double check.
I think in solidarity, we should all shut our cameras off.
But I mean,
here's another number that's got to improve. And again, I'm taking all these stats outside of the Central game because I don't include that.
yes,
Third
right.
downs of 9 yards or more, they're 2 for 12 all year.
Mhm.
Got to be better than that. Got to be able to convert. Yay. Well,
I
Absolutely.
can't believe it. 6th attempt. Yeah, no, you're good. Sorry. 2 for 12. Yes.
2 for 12 on 9 yards or more. Got to do better than that. Got to be able to convert.
Absolutely. And you
some
got to
of
be
those
able to stop people on third down.
Right.
Because those were, I mean, we had several instances against Buffalo and Ball State, even Delaware, where we could have put the game away on third and longs near the end and in fourth and longs, and they were able to convert. That is my only gripe. I understand we are running the ball well. I understand the ratio is good. We had 31 carries, 31 pass attempts, 32 pass attempts.
Yeah, that's
Is
great.
Perfect.
FAU,
That's perfect.
Is FAU
Good
a
balance.
challenge this week?
Yes.
Because they played Delaware. I mean, Delaware blew them out in the end.
Right.
they
But no, they have a this is
played
why,
tough for a while.
Dave, this is why they're going to be a problem because they have they have a good dual threat quarterback,
Oh, yeah.
but they also run the ball well.
Okay.
They run the ball well. And, we have struggled stopping the run.
And they've got a really
all
good
season.
kick returner.
And in special teams, yes, we have given up quite a bit. That's absolutely correct. But I'm looking now.
The Fighting Blue Hens are 3-1.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said the exact same thing. I said Delaware is killing it.
Remember, I said to you, they're like
season.
JMU. Delaware is like JMU.
Yeah.
They're similar. They're similar as far as what the players they can get, and they were always a powerhouse in the whatever the hell the conferences were called over the years. CAA,
The CAA. Yeah.
I would know all of them. Yankee Conference, Atlantic 10, CAA, every acronym there is in the planet that these teams that we have been a part of it too at one point.
But yeah. Joe, this is what scares me is they average 187 rushing yards per game.
Well, you don't know how much of that
is Bethune-Cookman. I know what you're saying.
You don't know how much of that, I mean, our numbers are skewed because of Central. Their numbers are skewed because of Bethune-Cookman. So
right.
Look,
right.
I don't think I don't think anything should scare UConn.
No. I think you said it. You hit the nail on the head.
I think you have to have, and I said earlier before you joined us, they don't get caught looking past people. They may lose games to teams they shouldn't lose, but they don't get caught looking past people. I don't think they will be ill prepared for tomorrow.
There's a couple people predicting that we're going to lose.
Really?
I mean, well, our friend Chris D says he sees this coming. Yeah, that we could lose this one. But
okay.
I mean, yeah, they rushed.
Their top FIU is like top heavy, like I think they have transfers. So
25 guys from the portal.
Okay, yeah. So like their linebacker from Colorado's very good. Cheney, I think they have guys that are top heavy. I don't know if they're deep.
Their quarterback is. I know Joe doesn't agree with preseason rankings necessarily, and neither do I. But their quarterback is preseason offensive player of the year. He's a candidate for that. And he's on the smaller side. But Dave, it's like you talked about, like Nick Minucci being from Bosco and nobody massive taking him. And he's been having a great season since he's been in. This Keon Jenkins,
Miami Central.
He's 6 feet tall, but he's athletic and he throws the ball well.
He's a Miami Central kid, which is a massive, massive powerhouse.
Oh, okay. I'm not aware.
So
I
he
didn't know
played
that.
in a lot of big games as a high school player. Obviously, it's different, but he was a star for Miami Central, which is a
80
powerhouse.
kids from Florida on their roster.
Which is
80?
good.
Yeah.
Which is the
They
way
should.
those schools, all those Florida schools should always have 1 million kids from Florida on their roster.
There's
Yeah.
plenty of talent. There's plenty of talent down there, and they don't need to. They don't need to go anywhere else. But defensively is where, I mean, for our offense, we should be able to keep the production rolling a little bit, and I'd like to see us get back to 35 plus offensively. And I think Joe said it. If we play the way we're capable of playing, and I had asked Joe about playing up to the competition or down to the level of the competition. I think if we just play the way we are capable of playing, we can absolutely handle this team and come out with a nice victory going into the bye week. It'd be perfect, to finish the first half of the season with 3 wins, regroup, and come out for the meat of the schedule. And I'm not saying at all look past these guys, because they have some athletes, they have some players, they have guys that can run, and we are not doing a lot defensively to get off the field on third down. And then my other concern is I believe we're one of the only teams in the country with 1 turnover, maybe. They may count the last play of the game against Buffalo as a turnover, but we only have 1 takeaway. And I think that's concerning. Now, we are protecting the ball, but we're not turning it over. And those are momentum swingers. Those are game breakers. And Joe, like I haven't seen defensively anyone really step up in that leadership role and take control, and someone who you can rely on and depend on to make those big plays when shit hits the fan or the game's on the line. That's what I think.
Well, you
we
need
had
more than one
Jaden.
guy to do that. I mean,
Yeah, no, I
again,
agree. I agree.
and again, we don't know what the quarterback's a lefty too. I'm just
He
watching.
is. Yeah, he is. Yeah,
I'm just watching tape of them. The quarterback's a lefty. Ooh, that's
he
always a
is.
little bit of a
It
that's
is.
always a little bit of an adjustment.
You got to flip
So,
your defense.
and he
No,
looks like he's
it
a
is.
pocket. Even though he's only 6 feet, he looks like
He
he's a
doesn't
pocket
run.
guy.
No, he's
Yeah.
not a big runner.
But I mean, he stays in the pocket. He's not. They're not rolling him all the time to get him passing lanes. So
correct. Yeah.
again, I think you have to respect him. I don't think you have to fear him.
No, but like I said, the only thing that I know that he doesn't look to run, and he's had some carry games where he's had more carries than others. I just worry we've struggled against dual threat quarterbacks. So if I am FIU, I am watching the Delaware film, and I am implementing some of their schemes against us, because we struggled to get lined up right against Delaware. And Dave, remember we were going over it, and we were short gaps to cover the quarterback. And you saw pre-snap how you knew he was keeping the ball because he was looking at the front. He was like, "Really? This is what they're going to line up in?" And
I mean,
and they've had 8 sacks.
well, I told you,
They've had 8
because
sacks.
I know Cardi well,
Mhm.
and he's from the Chip Kelly tree and Coach McDonough tree, and he's going to be. I knew he was going to be a good offensive uh, uh, play caller just because of the systems he's been a part of in the past as an assistant. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Who's the head coach at FIU?
I don't know who that
Willie
coach.
Simmons.
Willie Simmons.
You tell me you know Willie Simmons?
No. Willie Simmons was
Oh.
was he FAMU before?
Oh,
I don't.
Willie
I don't
I'll
know.
have to look. Give me a second to look.
I will look.
Where's Willie
I
Simmons?
will look.
He
Willie
was
Simmons.
FAMU. I'm right.
Yeah,
Ah,
of course.
good. I'm
You know-
good. I'm good.
You
was
know
FAMU.
everyone. You know everyone. Yeah,
So
but I
there
mean,
you
they also have, I think, several turnovers as well. Let's say 8. I know they have several interceptions and a fumble recovery. So I mean, I definitely think it's a even matchup for us. I think they may have more overall athletes than we do. If you see production from the receivers, it's more balanced as opposed to, we target Skyler a lot, but why wouldn't we? But I was just looking. Yeah, they have 4 interceptions. They have 1 fumble recovery.
They've only turned it over 6 times, and they've got they're -1 in the turnover battle.
Okay, so that's good. That's good for us. If they have turned it over, and they they do run the ball. And I was just looking overall, but yeah, you're right about the quarterback. He does tend to stay in the pocket. He's not someone who is the run first, or if things break down, he's going to look to run. He is going to try to make throws. And he runs when he has to.
He's got 4 touchdowns rushing, so you have to be careful of him rolling out at the goal line.
Absolutely.
You have to maintain containment, because if you don't, he'll walk right in.
Absolutely, and that's that, Dave. That was my issue with Minucci and a couple other of the
We
dual
played
threat
against
guys.
his quarterback before.
Yeah, we played him last year.
Last year and
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
2 years ago, right? Yep. He
23 got
torched
beat by him.
He torched us 2 years ago.
He torched us 2 years ago.
I'm looking at it right now. Thank God for the internet. I could find things in 30 seconds. I mean, he torched us. Holy crap!
Well, that's my concern,
move.
because
This is when he was a freshman, right? Yeah, he was a freshman.
Yeah.
when you have a dual threat in the red zone, that is when you're really compromised. Because you're trying to stop the run, you're trying to stop the pass, and then you have a running quarterback. What I would implement, Dave, I don't know if you saw this, but the teams that have been playing Lamar Jackson have kind of schemed him up where they are dropping. They tend to drop 7 or 8, and they're spying him. And that's been limiting him and, forcing him to throw the ball, which he hasn't had as much success in this year. So, I mean, teams eventually believe they have the secret sauce. I don't know if that's it. My concern is with picking and choosing when we blitz, because, like I said, when we blitz, I just see us get gashed. And that was my concern in the Buffalo game when I rewatched it, when they had that 65-yard touchdown run. We blitzed, we misfit, and there was a lane you could drive a truck through for their running back. And that's what I don't like, blitzing athletic, dynamic running quarterbacks, because they can get out of harm's way.
I can tell you what my concern is with this quarterback now that I've watched quite a few. I've watched 0 before we got on the thing, and I just kind of looked at the stats. But now that I'm watching him, what could make him dangerous for us is he could throw the ball deep, and we have a problem with the deep ball. So
he's got a cannon.
He's got a cannon.
He's got a cannon, no doubt about it.
He could throw the ball deep, and which if we get after him, I'm just thinking.
But that's the
If you
thing.
get
I don't think
after him and he can throw the ball deep, you're also going to have guys turned and running.
and
which
running.
You're going to have
Yes.
lanes. You're going to have lanes for him to take off. If we do cover well, so guys are going to have to be able to make. They're going to have to be able to make plays on him because he's going to, by stretching the field more often, that's going to create lanes for him running because you're going to have vertical.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah, you're going to have huge gaping gaps. That's going to be.
That's why I don't like playing man coverage behind some of those blitzes. So you don't have to take your eyes off and turn and run. When you play man and you're blitzing
I would
that,
play him like a cover 4 or some sort of a match because he would.
yeah, you have to keep your eyes forward.
He'd have to pull the ball down a little more and run.
And I saw a couple of these NFL teams where their defensive ends will pass rush and then kind of stop to keep a cage on the quarterback to keep
so
him
you're saying
contained.
have like a spy in the middle.
I would spy him,
and
yes.
create like
I don't think we need
cage
to
around him.
I don't think
I gotta stop. I gotta stop this for a minute. We're not playing Lamar effing Jackson. Okay.
No,
We're playing a kid who went to
Miami
Florida International University.
I
I would say do what you do best.
We made
Make
Minute look like
adjustments if
Lamar
you have
Jackson.
to. But I think if you go into a game, and again, this is the non-player talking. If you go into a game and you're switching everything up because you're afraid of some kid from Florida International University, that's telling your defense you don't believe in what you're doing.
100%.
Be you and be yourself. And if it doesn't work at the beginning, then you fine tune it. But I would say from the start, I would say blitz his ass off.
Go after him.
Take it to him. Make him uncomfortable.
Play. See if
you know, make him uncomfortable. Take a roughing penalty if you have to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always into that at the beginning of the game. Make the quarterback know you're going to be around. But I wouldn't. I mean, I understand what you boys are saying, but I wouldn't switch everything around this isn't the second coming. It doesn't appear he's the second coming of Lamar Jackson. He's good.
No. And he's 6 feet tall. He's 190. You're right.
And again, respect them, but I just don't think you have to change. You have to.
No. You're right. I mean, he's 6 feet tall. He's 190. Lamar Jackson 6'4". He's a big dude. Absolutely. You're right in that aspect. I was just more saying along the lines of we have struggled against athletic, dynamic, dual threat quarterbacks. He's not necessarily a true dual threat quarterback. I'd say he's just more of an athletic one. I don't necessarily, with what I've seen, you may not need to spy him. I just don't believe necessarily in blitzing him a lot. I think if we're judicious about when we blitz, and I would like to see certain times to confuse him, have a spy or drop 8, make him throw the ball.
What is his what is his
what are his stats?
No, yeah, how many interceptions has he thrown?
He has not thrown that.
He hasn't thrown many. Shoot, I don't think he's thrown many.
No, I mean, unless I'm reading this right, he's got 2 touchdown passes to 3 interceptions. 73 of 176 in 4 games. So he's not necessarily setting the world on fire, but I mean they also played Penn State. So I do get that. I'm gonna just check the numbers for Penn State. But Buffalo did not have the players.
He might have been hurt in one of these games. Another quarterback played.
Oh, another quarterback played against Penn State.
I would think the backup played against Penn State and probably Delaware.
Yeah, he was hurt.
Brookman. He probably played against
Oh,
Maybe, yeah.
no, he did play against Penn State. He was 15 of 28 with 1 interception, and he got sacked twice. So let me just double check and see if he did play.
Yeah, I mean, 2
against
touchdown
the-
passes in 4 games doesn't set the
Yeah.
world on fire, but they've got 11
No.
rushing touchdowns,
No, yeah.
and they've only allowed 4. So that's pretty good. That's pretty
No,
solid.
they run the ball well. They run the ball well. They ran the ball pretty well against Delaware as well, even though they lost. So, and the other thing I like is it doesn't appear that they're a. Oh no, he did. Okay, so against FAU, he had 9 carries for 74 yards. Oh no, I'm sorry, he had 13-yard loss. He had 9 carries for 61 yards. So I guess it would depend how much they use him in the run game. My concern is them using him in the run game in the red zone. That I think is what gives us difficulties. And he does tend to spread the ball around when he passes. But yeah, statistically looking at his numbers, I mean, he's not throwing for 350 yards a game. He throws for a little over 200. They're heavy run. I mean, against FAU, they ran it 40 times and passed it 24. So they're going to rely on this run game. I got to watch more film on them just to see how they run the ball. And then I'm just looking at Delaware. I know Delaware, they ran it, I believe it was, they ran it 34 times, and he ran it 10 times. He only had 10 carries for 18 yards. So maybe he is not the greatest runner in the world, which would be a help to us. And he only passed for 200 yards, and he threw 2 picks, and he was sacked twice. So Delaware got after him. So if Delaware can get after him, I am hopeful that we can get after him.
Well, I think that's what you should do. And look, you got a defensive coordinator who likes to blitz.
He loves it.
Oh, he's going to blitz.
Make them uncomfortable early. That's that. And when you're home, you have to be the aggressor in every way. I'd go up top to Bell on the first play, and I'd blitz this son of a bitch's ass off from the start.
Well, it was like how we were against Ball State. Ball State, we went for it 5 times on 4th down, and I think, like you said, we were the aggressor, and that made all the difference in the world.
Well, but I'm talking at the start of the game. I don't care.
Yeah, right.
I don't care what the 4th down stuff, it comes and goes, and I would also look at where those 4th down plays were before I got
where they took place.
Right, before I got gung ho crazy on that. But look, I mean, here's my thought, and I'll say it one last time: is that you go out and play your game, and you're going to win. I mean, if you turn the ball over and you can't run, well, then you're going to have an issue. But you shouldn't. You should be able to run the ball. You should be able to get 100 yards rushing from Edwards.
Absolutely.
Fagnano should probably throw for a couple of TDs. Skyler should go for 100 yards through the air. I mean, I think sometimes in football more than other sports, and everybody does it. It's not just we tend to overanalyze.
You overthink it. Yeah.
We try to look for the worst thing that could happen, especially defensively. Every quarterback is. By the way, Lamar Jackson only 6'2".
Oh, I don't know why I thought he was 6'4". Sorry. Thank you, Joe.
Only 6'2". So the corrector of facts is back.
Yes, yes.
I say go out and play your game.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, they should be coming out with some confidence. They kicked a game-winning field goal on the road with 50 seconds left when they got the ball back. That's something to build on. And I agree. If we play our game, Joe has been a great leader. I would just like to see him spread the ball around a little bit more to get the other guys involved. But
Montana didn't spread it around from Jerry Rice. I mean, he had John Taylor, but
right,
you know,
right.
when you've got a stud receiver,
You got to feed him.
And they said that Sam has said that before the Delaware game or the Delaware game, that he had a whole page full of calls just for Skylar. And I'm sure that came from the top man. I don't think that was Gordy coming up with that on his own. I'm sure Mora said get Skylar the ball more.
And he did. That was the game where I felt they
Right.
got him the ball most in space with the wide receiver screens. And exactly, getting the ball in his hands is most important because he is so dynamic and so dangerous. And it's going to be interesting to see. I do hope now I believe this is homecoming as well. So I do hope that we get 20 to 25 plus in the stands for this one.
You know, Joe told you last time to not worry about attendance. Do you remember?
No, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about the number. I said I don't care about the number. I don't care about the number. I just said that it would be nice to see 20 to
not going to happen.
Not going to happen. They're not going to load up the.
No one's showing up for FIU.
No,
nobody. Nobody.
No one.
3:30 on a Saturday. Yeah.
Well, and I hate to say this, especially with the Yanks playing at 4:08.
Oh, that's right. They beat the Sox. That's right. That's right. You're 100%.
Also
right.
at 3:30 is Alabama versus Vanderbilt, which is surprisingly
which is
a big
undefeated.
game.
Yeah, Vandy's undefeated. Vandy's ranked 18th.
With my favorite,
even though it's going to be a nice
in the
day,
country.
Even though it's going to be a nice day, it's like Shu said, nobody's coming out to see the owls, unless they're spotted and in trees.
And then they're going to be a select group of people that are a spotted owl enthusiasts.
I have two questions for you, Joe. One, how do you think Bobby Petrino does this weekend?
Oh, who are they? I have no idea who they're playing.
The mighty. They have a ranked opponent. I know that because people were talking about how, or they may have an off week.
I think they'll win if they have an off week.
Because that was a big discussion. And my second question was, do you think Billy Napier has been taking it on the chin at Florida? Do you think he could possibly be the next coach to go?
No.
Or Dabo Swinney?
No, I don't think Dabo Sweeney's not going. No, those guys aren't going anywhere till the end of the year. Those athletic departments have more stability than these other numbnuts who are canning their coaches.
You think they would fire Dabo Swinney after the season?
I'm just telling you what people. I mean,
no, I don't, Shu. But if they fire him, it's not coming mid-year.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're right. Arkansas does have a bye this week, and then they're at Tennessee next week.
Well, I like their chances. I like their chances better this week than next week.
They got Tennessee, Texas A&M for the next two games. It would just be amazing if he ends up getting the job. I was just looking at it to see who could possibly be the next coach to be axed early on. And then just off topic again, New York Giants, Jackson Dart. What do you think of them this weekend?
At New Orleans is a place they never play well. Not having neighbors isn't going to help.
I know.
But the Saints stink. The Saints stink.
They're abysmal. So,
I think if you can win this game, because look, the schedule's a bitch. How you can be the worst team in the league last year and have the toughest schedule makes no sense whatsoever. That's not the way the thing was designed. I think the Giants win this week.
I had a debate with somebody. Do you think that they should make a trade to bring in like an AJ Brown or someone like that, another receiving target?
No.
That's
No.
what my friend said that too.
No.
There's no point to do it this year and give up the
No,
capital.
you're not. You don't think you're going to the playoff. You don't think you're going to the Super
That's
Bowl.
what he said.
You
That's
probably
exactly
don't
what he
think you're
said.
going to the playoffs. Why mortgage your future?
That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said. And I didn't know if there was anyone out there worth bringing in. So, Joe, what would you say for your prediction this weekend?
I think UConn 38, the Spotted Owls 24.
Dave?
I'm sticking with my
Dave's been more accurate.
I'm sticking with my 7-point victory round here. I'll go 38-31.
Man, I'm gonna go with we got to get some more offense. We got to get some more offense. I'm gonna go 28-21.
It's not much more offense.
Well, I know. Listen, Joe. I'm learning my lesson. You know, I've stuck my finger in the electric socket the last 3 weeks.
Well, if you think they're going to score, don't let us talk you out of it.
No, you know, I'm not convinced of it because I haven't seen a ton of adjustments. That if we make certain adjustments, we can explode. If we continue to do some of the same concepts, I don't think we'll explode. So if we get the 28 points defensively, we've been playing, you know, we've been giving up a lot, but, you know, to hold teams to 17 points like we did against Buffalo, Ball State, I think it was 24. You know, we had Syracuse at 6 before the Delaware debacle. I think we'll be fine. So, but the most important thing is getting the victory, 3-0 going into the bye week. It's a big game to have at home, and I think we can take care of business. So, Dave, do you have any final thoughts?
I think we'll win the game. I think it won't be easy, and then we're on to what's next week.
We're off, and then we're at BC.
We're off. We have 2 weeks for BC.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is good.
That's probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably good. So, yeah, get the win and get to BC because BC stinks this year, right? So,
Right.
Well, they're down. They're down, so to speak.
No, they stink.
they
No,
stink.
they're
Yeah,
not very
it's-
good.
They absolutely
They're
stink.
not very
I
good.
was trying to be diplomatic, but yeah, they're
Why?
pretty bad. They're pretty bad. I'm
very bad.
trying to.
They're one of the worst teams in the ACC, aren't they?
Yes.
I'm wrong.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they are.
Yep.
They are
Yep.
one of the worst teams in the ACC.
All right,
Joe.
Steve, wrap it up. Some of us have other things to do.
All right. For the great Joe D, the icon, the legendary voice of the Huskies, Coach Schumann, I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life.